Hi, I'm Tiffany. Today I will be interviewing my great aunt, Sue Lee, on her experience and involvement for protesting against the Vietnam War. So, how did you first get involved with protesting against the war?
Well, it goes back a long way. That was in the late 60s and early 70s. That was the time I attended college at American University, which is a college located in Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. So that's where, all the excitement happens. The protests against the Vietnam War started earlier in the mid 60s, but it really intensified in the late 60s and early 70s when I was at college.
What did your college do to get active in protesting U.S. involvement of the war?
Well, there are many student associations, and of course, there are a lot of articles written about the war and why we believe that the U.S. should be out of the Vietnam War. So one of the big events was organizing a march against the war in, let's see, I think it was my junior years, 1971. Yeah, and so I participated part of that rally.
What do you remember about the anti-war protesting march that you were in?
Oh, I think the one thing I really remember the most was the camaraderie among the 300,000 or so protesters on that day. We all felt there was a common cause and very passionate about what we were protesting about. So it was just a good feeling of all these students, all these protesters coming together and believing in this one cause.
Mm-hmm. And did you experience any violence against your decision to help end the war, or help when you're participating in the marches itself?
Overall, it was a very friendly event. We marched, down the avenue. Of course, there was, barricade. There were a lot of police, so they kept us, all in place. But there was one part of the section, which was actually near my university, where we first started, and we had a much bigger crowd than the police thought. And so to disperse us, they actually threw tear gas. And that was the first time when I was in college felt, I was tear gassed and had to run away to get, that sting out of my eyes. And that was something also I, remembered for some time.
Mm-hmm. So who joined the marches? Was it just your school, or did other schools around Washington
it was,
join?
like I said, it was about, I think it was announced about close to 300,000 people that attended that particular march.
So people from all over the nation.
Yeah, so students, from all over the country. Of course, in Washington, D.C. itself, there are a lot of, universities.
Mm-hmm.
So we were more the organizing, student group. But they came by busloads from as far as the West Coast, from the North, Boston area. So it's really a big rally.
And also, it wasn't just students participating in the marches. There were also veterans, I heard. Is that true?
Yeah, yes, yeah, and that was another momentous event that, although I was not actually at that point of time, but it was for the media, that veterans participated and actually threw their medals that they received for their bravery in front of the steps of the Capitol building as a sign of protest. So even the veterans believe the war should be ended.
Mm-hmm. And how long did the march protest last?
Well, it was a weekend.
Right,
it was the one I was involved. It was a weekend event. So, but it was one day of the whole march. Going down to the Capitol, and then we rallied at the end of the Washington Monument, and that was really cool. And hearing different speakers to talk about why we should be out of the war.
Mm-hmm. And did you really think that the protest really helped the U.S. involvement get out of the war?
Well, I think it raised even more visibility as to why the young people want the U.S. to be out of the war. Too many young people were dying. We were not being we were given an idea that that we would win the war very quickly, and that didn't happen. And it was just a lot of young people dying for something that they shouldn't be.
How do you think the news and media conveyed the war itself?
Actually, the Vietnam War, I understand, was the first war that was broadcast, live images, from the front line of the war to the homes, of the U.S. citizens, right? So you can see, what's happening live, and people actually, this devastating war, buildings being bombed, people, including children, dying, and so it really, was heartfelt.
And we know that the U.S. actually lost the Vietnam War because we got out of it soon enough. So now, knowing that your protest could have led to them wanting to get out, do you think it was worth it to protest against the war?
Well, I mean, that's the great thing about the U.S., right? You can voice, your opinion, right? So protest is one way, to allow the masses, to let the politicians know, the president know that, hey, this is how we feel, and we still continue to have this right. So I think it certainly had hopefully some impact and some influence on that decision, yes.
All right, well, I think that sums it up. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview today.
Okay, well, I hope you found this interesting.
I did, thank you.